The fastest-growing non-alcoholic beverage brand in America isn't a coffee, an energy drink, or a new kind of soda. It's water. In a beer can. What if the most effective way to sell the healthiest drink on the planet was to make it look and sound like the most unhealthy? A company, now valued at over $1 billion, has built an empire on this single, absurd idea. They took the most boring, commoditized beverage imaginable, water, and gave it a name that sounds like a heavy metal band from the 1980s, Liquid Death. Think about the bottled water industry. For decades, it has been a sea of sameness. The marketing playbook has been identical across the board. Brands show us images of pristine mountains, crystal-clear glacial springs, and people doing serene yoga poses. They sell purity. They sell tranquility. They sell a very specific, very clean version of health. And then, there is Liquid Death. Their cans feature photorealistic, melting skulls. Their official slogan is "Murder Your Thirst." Their marketing campaigns have featured porn stars, witches, and a death metal album whose lyrics are just negative comments from their social media pages. They are the antithesis of everything a water brand is supposed to be. And they are winning. In an industry completely obsessed with the aesthetics of wellness, how did a brand built on punk rock, heavy metal, and sheer absurdity become a viral sensation and $1 billion company? What is the strategic genius behind selling canned mountain water like it's a tallboy of beer? That's the question we're answering today. To understand Liquid Death, you first need to understand its founder, Mike Cessario. He wasn't a beverage industry executive. He was a creative director in the advertising world, creating campaigns for brands like Netflix. He was an expert in one thing: capturing attention. The idea for Liquid Death came from an observation. While working on the Vans Warped Tour, a traveling punk rock festival, he noticed something interesting. The musicians and athletes on stage were all drinking water. But they were drinking it out of Monster Energy cans to fit in with the hardcore, rebellious aesthetic of the tour. Holding a flimsy, plastic water bottle simply wasn't cool. It sent the wrong message. It didn't fit their identity. This sparked a powerful insight in Cessario's mind. The health and wellness market is enormous. But the marketing for health and wellness products is incredibly narrow. It speaks only to a specific type of person: the marathon runner, the yoga enthusiast, the suburban parent. It completely ignores a huge and influential segment of the population: skaters, punk rockers, artists, gamers, metalheads, anyone who finds the typical live, laugh, love wellness culture completely unrelatable. Cessario's strategy was born from this gap. He wouldn't sell health. He would sell entertainment. He rightly concluded that Liquid Death wasn't competing with Fiji and Evian for shelf space. It was competing with Red Bull, Budweiser, and Oreo for your attention. The product inside the can might be water, but the brand itself would be an entertainment company. Most companies follow a simple path: create a product, find a market for it, and then build a brand. Liquid Death flipped this script completely. They built the brand first to prove a market even existed. In 2018, with no product, no distribution, and no company, Cessario took a huge risk. He spent around $3,000 to produce a single, hilarious commercial. The ad was a gritty, over-the-top parody. It depicted a woman waterboarding a captive, screaming about the lethal danger of Liquid Death mountain water. It was shocking, funny, and utterly bizarre. They posted the video online and put a small amount of ad spend behind it. The result was explosive. The video went viral, racking up millions of views in a matter of months. Their new Facebook page quickly got more likes than established giants like Aquafina. Thousands of people were messaging the page, asking where they could buy this new, insane brand of water. This viral video was the entire business plan. It was proof of concept. Cessario took this data, the views, the likes, the comments, to investors. He didn't have sales figures, but he had something more valuable: proof of ravenous demand. He sold the idea of Liquid Death before he ever sold a can of it. The brand was the product from day one. And it was enough to secure his first round of seed funding to actually produce the water. With funding secured and a product in hand, the challenge became keeping the momentum going. Liquid Death's strategy was to reject traditional advertising and instead create marketing so entertaining that it functions as its own product. Their playbook stands on three core pillars. First, embrace calculated absurdity. Liquid Death doesn't make commercials. They make viral content designed to be shared and talked about. They sold a limited edition run of skateboards infused with the actual blood of legendary skater Tony Hawk. They released a death metal album titled Greatest Hates, with lyrics pulled directly from the hateful comments they received online. They hired a witch to hex their water. Each campaign is a headline-grabbing spectacle. It's a strategy of being so relentlessly funny and weird that you cannot be ignored. Second, weaponize the packaging. The tallboy aluminum can is not just a container, it is the brand's most powerful marketing tool. It solves the core problem Cessario first identified. It allows someone who is sober, or just wants water, to stand at a party, a bar, or a concert and hold something that feels socially comfortable. It doesn't scream, "I'm the designated driver." It blends in with beer and energy drinks. The can is a social prop, a badge of identity that says you're part of the joke. Third, a smart mission for a dumb brand. Beneath the melting skulls and heavy metal fonts lies a surprisingly potent mission: death to plastic. The brand exclusively uses aluminum cans because they are infinitely more recyclable than the single-use plastic bottles that dominate the beverage industry. This mission is a stroke of genius. It anchors the absurd, ironic brand in a genuine, defensible purpose. It gives consumers a rational, environmental reason to justify their emotional, brand-driven purchase. You might come for the skull, but you can stay for the sustainability. It's the perfect way to silence the critics and make the consumer feel good about buying in. So let's connect the dots. The founder, Mike Cessario, identified a gap in the market, not for a new kind of water, but for a completely new kind of brand. A brand that rejected the clean, serene aesthetic of wellness. They proved their concept with a hilarious, low-budget video that went viral before they had a product to sell. And they built a cult-like following by being relentlessly entertaining, turning their can into a social signal, and grounding their absurd humor in a real, environmental mission. And that is the secret. Liquid Death is not selling water. They are selling an identity. They are selling permission for a massive, underserved audience to participate in the health trend without sacrificing their counterculture image. The water is just the Trojan horse that carries the brand into the consumer's hands. You are not buying a beverage. You are buying a conversation starter. You are buying a joke. You are buying entry into a tribe that believes being healthy doesn't mean you have to be boring. The product is the brand, and the brand is pure, unadulterated entertainment. If this strategy is making you thirsty for more breakdowns, do us a solid and hit the like button and subscribe. It helps us murder the algorithm. The brilliance of Liquid Death strategy is that in a completely commoditized market, the only true differentiator is brand. They have created a brand so unique, so powerful, and so distinct that it has an almost unbreachable competitive moat. Fiji cannot suddenly start making jokes about death metal. A new startup can't simply outweird them without looking like a cheap imitation. Liquid Death has created and now completely dominates a category of one, entertaining water. The broader business principle here is a masterclass in niche-to-scale marketing. The old way of building a massive brand was to create a product with the broadest possible appeal. Liquid Death did the exact opposite. They targeted a very specific, passionate subculture: skaters, artists, metalheads. By winning over this niche with an authentic and hilarious voice, their cool factor became aspirational to the mainstream. The lesson for modern branding is powerful. The best way to get big is often to start small, be unapologetically different, and build a dedicated tribe that will amplify your message to the world for you. If you learn something new, hit the like button and subscribe for more strategy breakdowns. And let us know in the comments, what company's strategy should we unlock next?